God! Alright, that should be it. That should be everything. God damn it! It's what happens when you use your telephone to live stream. Hello, it's me, Ethan. What's poppin'? I'm just gonna hold my camera like this for the entire time. Nope, I'm not gonna do that because that's awful content. What's up, everybody? I hate that. Immediately hate that. Alright, let's lock you in there. Let's see. Okay, to be fair, the second time it exploded was because I pressed a button that turned my webcam into a file transfer device or some bullshit like that, I don't know. Interesting audio drama, though. My life is an interesting audio drama. Every one of my adventures is just a strange escapade that results in me making a lot of noises. This is something that I think about constantly, right? I think of myself as being somebody who has a relatively high tolerance for pain and discomfort. Like, I feel like I'm resilient. I feel like my highest stat in Dungeons & Dragons would be my constitution. I feel like I could take a punch. I have nothing to back that up, but that is how I feel, right? I just sound like a fucking asshole while doing it. Like, I'll give you an example. I donate blood all the time, and that involves you getting stabbed with machines and having your life juice literally sucked out of you. Now, I can do that. I'm fine with that. I am a big guy. I can take getting blood drawn from me. But every time it happens, I sound like Zelda from The Legend of Zelda. Just, I just make noise. It sounds like I'm having a terrible time, and the nurses are always like, are you okay? Are you dying? And I always have to tell them, no, I sound like that. That's just how I am. There's a cat emote? There is absolutely a cat emote. There is also, now that I've actioned this, there is... I mean, there should be another emote that I added. Is that just not? It might not be there. Anyway, I added another emote, which I guess should be available. Not just to subscribers, but also people who follow me just standard. But it might still be in approvals, actually. But yeah, I added a new emote to the channel. It's that little cat thing down there. But you can't use it. Oh, there it is! See, I did that! I did that. Me. Hello, hello. Twitch.tv user Jotunheart. And Nico_JPEG. What's poppin'? How's it going? I am going to be back on my grind painting miniatures today. Painting these wonderful little lads, who were all in a completely separate room when I started the stream. Like, I hit the button, I pressed live, I went go. And then immediately I realized I don't actually have anything to paint, nor do I have any, like, instruments to paint with. Like, I had a couple of buddies of mine over for, like, a painting session over the weekend, and I left all of my painting shit out in the living room. We did not end up painting, because we all got drunk and had a great time instead, which is how you know we had a good painting session, because we didn't end up painting a fucking thing. Good to catch you? Well, I'm glad you could catch me. Twitch.tv user Jotunheart. I'm glad you're here. You specifically. Everyone else, could care less for. But yeah, all of my shit was in another room before I logged on. So now all of it's pretty much just on the floor, because I had to, like, run into a separate room and just grab everything haphazardly. So if I reach over awkwardly for things at any point throughout this presentation, I'm not sorry. That's just how my shit's set up, apparently. This is on the floor. It shouldn't be there, but I didn't have time to put it anywhere else. Ugh. What's the fit for the stream? The fit is this cool crop top that I got at the store last weekend. I'm very excited. It fits very comfortably. This... Okay, hold on. Wait, am I wearing pants? Yeah, I'm okay. This top right here, you see this? You see this fucking thing right here? $3. $3 at an outlet store. Best fucking deal of my life. This thing looks great. It fits me exactly. It's so comfortable. It just has a tiny little hole under the boob, but that's fine, because I don't have those. I'm immune. I have my thingies in my room and it's always such a mess. I love it. Honestly, I'm the same. Like, literally, the only reason why all of my painting shit isn't within arm's reach of me right off the bat is because I all put it somewhere else because I had company over and I wanted to make a good impression, you know? And then we all got drunk and couldn't make much of anything after that. Should flex muscles. Ka-cha! Ow. I went to the gym today, they're still sore. That's a steal? Yeah, I know. I didn't actually try this on before I got it. I just sort of vaguely held it up to my torso. And I was like, this looks like it might fit me. Like, it looks like with a little bit of adjusting of the shoulder straps, it should, you know, fit my body comfortably enough. But even if it doesn't, even if I pick it up and I can't physically wear it, like it doesn't fit or it just doesn't look good, it's 300 Canadian cents. So I feel like I'm in a comfortable enough financial situation that if I was to just throw that away, I would be fine with that. I would be entirely fine, and that's okay. So how's everyone's Wednesday going? I had to think what day it was, because I don't know how time works anymore. How's everyone's week been? It's been a fucking slow one for me. I'll tell you that much. You know, I've been thinking a lot about getting back on, you know, the streaming and content creation grind. So that's definitely been at the forefront of my mind. You know what I mean? I've been spending a lot of time thinking about that, and since I'm only really able to stream in the latter half of the week, I'm sort of just sitting here going okay, I want it to be Wednesday. I want it to be Thursday. I want it to be the weekend. More so than I normally do. Losing my mind, but in a productive way. Honestly, some days, that's all we can really ask for. Everyone's got to lose their mind at some point. As long as you're chill about it, that's fine. Rough night earlier, but improving. I'm sorry to hear that, Twitch.tv user Jotun Hart. Hopefully, I can create a relaxed, accommodating space we just sort of hang out in. Paint some little guys. You know what I mean? There's been a couple of those days over the last week, so I don't think anybody can fault you there. You know what I mean? My week's been busy and lonely as fuck. I mean, yeah, it happens. It's kind of an odd time of the year, I find. We're sort of out of holiday zone, we're well and truly in the year. I guess Easter's coming up, but nobody really celebrates Easter unless you have, families or children. I got one of those, but they're in another country, so it's not really that much of an issue worth worrying about. I'm doing alright, been chatting with this guy, and I really like hanging out with him in person. It was fun. Hell yes! We love to hear that, River21. It's always good to meet someone new. You know what I mean? Build those social connections. Or more, perhaps. Who's to say? This paint pot's dead, I can't use that. Alright, where's my fucking kit? There we are. But yeah, I feel like I've been thinking a lot about, you know, content and streaming and just wanting to do that more often, so yeah, I've really been thinking about, you know, cool things I could do, cool hangouts to have, or just wanting an excuse to throw on a camera and, you know, hang out with people. You know what I mean? I got leftover spaghetti for lunch. This is the peak of Maslow's hierarchy. Fuck yes, it is. There is nothing better than, logging onto work one morning, or just, you know, waking up, starting a new day, and knowing you don't gotta cook shit. Because there's leftovers in the fridge that you don't even have to, like, reheat. Just grab that pasta, pull it out, and fucking chomp it cold. That's what I do, anyway. Then again, I'm weird. You know what I mean? I'm one of those psychos that never reheats anything. Pizza? Eat it cold. Pasta? Eat it cold. Ravioli? Straight from the bag. Don't even need to cook it. I hate YouTube. What do you mean I get 5 ads back to back? Well, Twitch isn't that much better from what I understand. That's probably one of the biggest things to me. That's probably one of my biggest hang-ups with streaming and content creation in the modern era. You know what I mean? It's like, I like making stuff. I like doing silly little videos and TikToks and shorts and stuff like that people can enjoy. What I don't enjoy is the fact that in order for that to be a financially viable thing to do, I have to put my content in a space where ads can just be rammed down someone's throat. You know what I mean? Like, even streaming on Twitch, there's, like, you know, ads every, like, 20 seconds, it feels like. I mean, obviously I don't see them because I'm in the fucking, like, streaming command center, but, like, every now and again I get a pop-up that just says, like, oh, there's an ad break coming. Don't do anything worthwhile because your audience is going to be looking at fucking Pizza Hut. I probably shouldn't slander specific advertisers that definitely advertise on this platform. That doesn't feel like it's in my best interests. I hate ads. Ugh, don't we all? It's weird because, like, I don't know, like, I feel like... Here's something I was actually thinking about a lot today. Like, we're all worried about how much, like, information our smartphones are stealing from us, right? Like, my phone right now, well, it's not really doing much because I turn the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth off when I'm streaming. But my phone, on a regular day, will be beaming my location to someone somewhere, so somebody can tell that I'm geographically within a particular locale and should be served ads for that particular location. And not only that, it uses the websites that I look at and the content that I view to determine what ads I should get. And yet, somehow, the advertisements that I am continually served have absolutely nothing to do with me or my interests. Do I look like a man who is in the market for life insurance? No! When I die, it is going to be spectacular, and there is going to be nothing left of me to bury. I don't need a financial product to secure my body for my loved ones. There'll be nothing left. Facts, ads are constant and way worse on YouTube. I mean, yeah, that's true. At the very least, you know, if you run ads on Twitch, you can, like, deactivate pre-rolls, at least temporarily. Because that's always the worst, when you, like, go down to, like, consume a piece of content and, like, oh yeah, this is the thing that I want to watch. This is my night right here. Here's my 12-minute fucking video essay by some random guy about the origin of the Roblox oof sound effect. And then suddenly you gotta sit through, like, 60 seconds of a commercial break before you can actually get to the content that you want to see. And you know what really grinds, and you know what really, I fucking hate most of all about that? I don't know if they still do this anymore, or if this was just an isolated event, but for a very short period of time, I feel like YouTube put pre-ads for the ads that you were about to watch. Like, I'd load up a YouTube video, and then it'd give me, like, this swirly, like, corporate graphic that was like, your video will be delivered to you after these short messages. And I'm like, just give me the ads. Just give me the ads. Like, don't tell me you're gonna serve me ads. Just serve me the fucking ads. And give me a button so I can skip them. God! This is all very ironic because I work in advertising, but that's besides the point. Currently watching Super Saiyan 4 Goku use the Dragon Fist and Omega Shenron. I don't know what that means. If that's a secret hidden message of some kind, I don't get it. I don't watch a lot of anime. I don't watch any anime. I've never seen anime in my entire life. A fact which I will continue repeating because it's true. Hey, you do D&D, right? Can I run a build past you? Oh yeah, I fucking love talking D&D. Hit me with that shit. Hit me with that shit. I mean, nothing can be worse than the fighter-wizard combo that I ran in one of my last campaigns, which absolutely slapped, by the way. High-intelligence, psionic warrior, fucking enchantment wizard. One of the best characters that I have ever played. Bar none. Thematically and mechanically. It was good shit. On YouTube, there's like 20 ads for a 20-minute video, and it happened to me, and I just turned off YouTube for the day. Honestly, I think a lot of people are doing that. Like, I have such a hard time, like, reconciling my relationship with advertisements on YouTube, right? Because, like, I want to do more YouTube videos. I want to make more long-form content. And the way that becomes, like, financially viable is... you have ads before the video. Like, that's just how it works, you know? It's either that or you do, like, fucking pyramid schemes for Raid Shadow Legends. Which, honestly, like... nah. I don't know, use my code for, like, 10% off gamer subs. You think if I just advertise the fact that I had a... if I just pretend to have an affiliate code for gamer subs for long enough, do you think they would just, like, give it to me? Like, if I like, put on my account, you know, use code Ethan10 for 10% off gamer subs, if I did that for long enough, and people actually tried to use it, told me it didn't work, and I would just say, hey, reach out to gamer sub support, because I don't handle any of that sort of stuff. If I sent enough foot traffic their way, and people complaining to their tech support about my code not working, do you think they would eventually give me a code? Should I just con them into giving me a sponsorship? I don't know. I want to learn to play D&D so bad, but I don't have anyone to teach me. I mean, that's always the hard part about D&D, is that, like, and just tabletop role-playing games in general. Like, it's very hard to learn it from the book alone. Like, you kind of need to have someone teach you. Like, I remember in high school, I think I very briefly played I say played in air quotes, I very briefly played a Shadowrun campaign that somebody asked me to run. And keep in mind, this was way before, you know, like, the TTRPG boom. Like, nobody, like, this was before Critical Role, before the Adventure Zone. Like, unless you were into Acquisitions Incorporated, you had no idea what tabletop role-playing games even were. Some guy lent me the book, I tried to read it, and then I tried to run my own campaign, and, like, I have very spotty memories of it, because it happened in my childhood, right? But I actually went back and read the rules for Shadowrun, because I have the book, like, in my family home. I went back and looked at the rules, I went back and looked at the rules, and I sort of sat there and thought, I didn't use any of these. I don't even think we rolled dice when we were playing Shadowrun, quote unquote. Like, I wasn't playing this fucking game at all. I had no idea. Raid is gonna be the next honey scandal. I mean, I think Raid is very, like, I think Raid Shadow Legends is very, like, on point about what they are. Like, it's just a shitty video game that has an affiliate code. Like, you put the code in when you sign up, or, like, create an account or whatever, and someone makes a small commission off of that. Like, I think I could technically run a Raid Shadow Legends, like, sponsorship right now. Like, I think I have one in my Stream Elements, like, inbox or something like that. And it's literally just, like, if someone signs up using your code, then you get money from that. And it's like, you can earn up to $200,000! Yeah, if, like, 9,000 people sign up to your shitty free-to-play game that nobody wants to do. Alright, here we go. So 3 levels of Assassin's Rogue for crits on surprised enemies, and 2 levels of Grave Cleric for for the channel divinity that makes the enemy vulnerable to all damage for the next attack, so we get 4 times damage on 1 attack. That would work, yes, because vulnerability is double, and the sneak attack... Well, actually... No, critical hits and vulnerability are 2 separate things, so that would, technically, double the damage twice. I mean, not all of it, the critical damage from the sneak attack, the critical damage is rolled twice, but the modifier would remain the same, so it's not technically double-double. But no, that would work. And I'm wondering if it's more efficient to go down the smites, with smites and Hexblade, and we could use Eldritch Invocations for stealth. Well, that would be pushing you into... if you're more efficient to go down the smites with Hexblade, we could use Eldritch Invocations for stealth. I mean, that would be pushing you down the chain of Warlock and Paladin, which would definitely be splitting your leveling and magic capabilities across a bunch of different classes. I think the interesting thing about that build is that it's very purpose-built for one particular scenario. But if you don't, like, if it isn't, like, perfect, if you don't play the character perfectly for its given scenario, then you will be vulnerable in a lot of other places. Which I think is totally fine. Like, it is fun to play characters who are absolutely broken and busted in their, you know, specific circumstance. But that's kind of the... not the issue, but the... what do you call it? The pitfalls with multiclassing is that if you build yourself to be very specifically minded or very good in this one specific circumstance, you lose out of the versatility that maybe higher level spells get you, or that maybe a more focused build gets you. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I am all about that. But you just gotta know what's coming to you. You know what I mean? Should we make a Hydrates Bits button? I actually don't know. Do I have any, like, bits things? I think that would... like, I used to have, I used to have, like, those, like, viewer rewards where you could spend, like, the channel points or whatever they were. I think I deactivated those after a while because, like, back when I used to stream just, like, video games for that very short period of time, I had like, a channel rewards button that, like, I think it forced me to do, like, 5 push-ups. A great button for if you want to get if you want to get in shape. Oh. Twitch.tv user iHeart Narcissism has redeemed Ethan will reassure you it's all gonna be okay for 4,000 channel points. Hold on. Hey. It's me, Ethan. I know times are tough right now. I know that things aren't exactly the way that we'd want them to be. I know that every time we log onto the internet and open up the news, there's a new horror just waiting for us. And I know that that's scary. I know that in these times it really feels like there isn't anything that we can do. But if there's one thing that I know, it's that you can do it. You can make it through. And I want to be very clear about something. I'm not just saying this because you're a random person on the internet. That doesn't matter to me. I'm saying this because you are human. And human beings can do anything that they set their mind to. We put a man on the fucking moon just to prove that we could. We have wrought technological advancements, the likes of which we never thought were even possible. It didn't fucking matter who we were, where we were, when we were. We got it done. It wasn't because we were special. It wasn't because we were gifted. It wasn't because we were chosen. It was because we were fucking human. So it is gonna be okay. Because you're gonna make it okay. Because you can, and you will. I think an ad break started in the middle of that. I'm very upset about that. Fuck me. It didn't? Yay! My message got across. Oh, wise warlock, I beg for more wisdom. Okay, here's a fun bit of D&D wisdom. Nobody is forcing your rogues to have high dexterity. Did you know that? One of my favorite rogue builds that I ever played in D&D was a high strength, like bartender, bouncer, like nightclub kind of guy. You know what I mean? And he had high strength and expertise in athletics. He was a fucking grapple master. Do you understand me? And he was a rogue. I just had to play him as a, like, swashbuckler rogue, so I could use sneak attack even if I wasn't, like, within the right sneak attack conditions or whatever. But if I used a short sword for my main attacks, which is only 1d6 damage, but that's neither here nor there. If I used a short sword, which is a versatile weapon, I could still use strength for my attacks, and I could still get sneak attack damage because it was a versatile weapon. So even though I wasn't using dexterity, I was still getting good sneak attack damage on my fucking, like, burly brewery dwarf. You made an angry luchador? No, I made a random man from Brisbane. One of the scariest characters I ever made was a Dwarven Barbarian, Path of Frenzy. By 5th level, he pretty much turned into a blender after he took the Great Weapon Mastery feat. Oh god, that'll happen. 3 attacks base and extra attack every time you crit or down an enemy. Mwah! Fucking love that shit. I feel like I haven't got too crazy with, like, my martial builds. Like, I always feel like I've done some... Like, I don't think I've ever tried to, like, break the game with my builds, but I have definitely tried to be very specific, or, like, gear myself up for very specific circumstances with the builds that I've done in D&D. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of touched on it before, but one of my favorite characters that I ever played was a high-intelligence wizard-fighter combo who was, I think, like 5 levels in Psionic Warrior Fighter. Or maybe she was more like 7 levels in Psionic Warrior Fighter. So, like, she had, you know, basically psionic smites and, like, psychic shields that she could put up to protect herself and others. But she was a fighter, so that meant that, like, for all of the levels of wizard that I got, I was basically able to, like, load her up with utility spells rather than specific damaging spells or anything like that. Like, wizards actually have a lot of utility spells that they just never really get to use because they're fucking wizards. Like, Shadow Blade. It's a 2nd level bonus action spell that gives you a sick-ass Blade of Shadow that is absolutely useless in the hands of a wizard. But you have a high dexterity fighter who has a fighter subclass that allows them to psionically smite with their intelligence modifier, and you've got a fucking super cool martial warrior. God, I love this stupid game. Sure hope to play it someday. Wait, I had an idea. I could use Banishing Smite as well, that would deal 20 d10, as well as the damage from Eldritch Smite and the Heavy Crossbow. And then while they're banished, I could hide and get a 2nd attack for twice damage. Okay. Banishing Smite would deal 20 d10. That's a very high level smite, so that makes sense. The damage from Eldritch Smite. The heavy crossbow is what's throwing me off. I'm fairly certain that in most cases, smites specifically state that they have to be used with a melee weapon attack. That's the one thing that I'd call you out on. Like, that's one thing. You can smite with a crossbow? I don't think that's true. Divine smites, definitely not. But the like spell smites, maybe. Then again, like maybe they've updated that in the new version of D&D, or like D&D 2016. Which I'll be honest, I haven't really like looked into that much actually. Like, when I started playing D&D again after I moved, the website that I use, which is definitely very real and legal, to get all my D&D knowledge, it updated all of their stuff to be in line with the 2016 update. It wasn't 2016, no, it was like 2023 or something. What am I fucking talking about? But they'd updated all of their stuff to be in line with the, you know, revised D&D rules, right? And I just looked at it and I was like, hey, this looks completely alien to me and I hate change. What do you mean sorcerers get their, like, subclass at level 3? What are you talking about? If you're using 5e.tools, you can change the setting. Shh! Don't say it out loud. Then they'll know what it is. I feel like the only reason 5e.tools hasn't been taken off the internet yet is because we don't speak the name aloud. We pass it around in hushed whispers and Discord messages. I think it's weapon attacks now. Oh god. If you could just smite with weapon attacks, then yeah, absolutely you could smite with a crossbow, which I feel like. Okay, alright, I'm gonna do it. Here's my old man rant about modern Dungeons and Dragons, because I've looked through a bunch of this, like, I'm behind the bell curve in a lot of this stuff, but I've seen a couple of the changes that they made for the revised D&D rules, right? And I don't super agree with a lot of them. Like, I feel like the problem with modern D&D is that the mechanics and the rules are at odds with the kinds of games that have become popular, right? Like, Dungeons & Dragons originally was a game about Lord of the Rings-esque, like, fantasy quests. Like, you were marching on the mountain range for days on end, like, you were spending, like, literal, like, weeks of in-game time getting from point A to point B. Like, you were marching from Shire to Shire, and, like, that was the fantasy, right? Whereas now, everyone's frame of reference for D&D content is Critical Role, is Dimension 20, is the Adventure Zone. All of these, like, episodic, like, narrative-based, you know, on-camera tabletop campaigns who do not use 90% of the rules of Dungeons & Dragons. Like, they use the fight mechanics, the skill checks, and more or less that's it. Nobody in a televised game of Dungeons & Dragons has ever had to roll for a forced march. That's a rule that's in the book. You can look it up. But, like, I feel like a lot of the modern changes to the rules that they've done have really tried to, like, fit the game into those kind of, like, more of the open and flexible power fantasies that people seem to want to have after watching things like Critical Role or Dimension 20 or everything like that. You know, like, and as a result, I feel like they've made the game a little bit too open and a little bit too flexible. Like, for me, a lot of the fun of the game was toying with the mechanics. Like, you know, characters of certain classes or certain races could only do these particular things or get these particular bonuses. And I felt like from those constraints, that bred innovation, in a sense. Like, you know, having ability score increases tied to what kind of character you were playing, or the specific race of the character, was like part of the mechanics to me. To my understanding, at the very least. And so now it's like, oh, you can just, you know, you can choose the ability score increases, like, you know, you can use this ability or tool under a under a much more broader array of circumstances. And, like, everything's become really open and really flexible to the sense that, like, you can kind of just do anything. And I kind of liked the crunch of the more, like, concrete, solid mechanics. And like the more I talk about this, the more I realize I'm probably just a Pathfinder player in denial. But I refuse to psychoanalyze that. Oh yeah, banishing is still hitting a creature with a melee weapon or an unarmed strike. The fact that unarmed strikes are in there, I do like that change. I want to punch a man so hard that he disintegrates. What they did to Rangers was criminal. The flare was the point of the class, and I hate how they made the classes more uniform with everything, and that everything takes subclasses at level 3. I agree. That's what I'm talking about. Like, to me, part of the unique selling point of classes like Sorcerers, or Warlocks, or even Clerics, was that they got their subclass features at level 1. Like, that was tied into the benefit of that class. And that made multi-classing really fun. It also meant that multi-classing into classes that didn't have those benefits was more interesting. Like how when I took Fighter and Wizard, they were two classes that absolutely did not marry up in any capacity, but by choosing specific spells, specific like character feats, specific like ability score increases, I was able to create a character that was really unique in a lot of very specific circumstances, and that was part of the fun of the game for me. But now you can just do anything. Now you can just be like, well, I'm a fighter, but also I have access to 5th level spells. That's not true. I'm being hyperbolic, and old man is well and truly yelling at Cloud at this point. Shining Wave 94, thank you for the follow. I'm happy you feel somewhat content at me ranting about tabletop role-playing games that absolutely, in the grand scheme of things, do not matter. Why does my chat have dark text? I didn't do that. I do miss 3.5 and even advanced D&D, but I'm old. I mean, like, I think it's fair to miss the way things were, you know. I mean, 5e is all I know. Like, I'm a modern tabletop baby, right? Like, I play D&D 5e, Warhammer 40,000 10th edition. Like, I'm basic, but I accept that, and that's okay. I'm looking for a very particular color of paint, and I must consult the pyramids. What are you, Runefang Steel? Raycuff Flesh. Hello. Also, would you say that your skeleton is a pile of bones? That's listen, you can't sneak a fucking, like, D&D spell loophole question, like, past me, alright? I know what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to cast fucking Animate Dead on someone's still living body because you want to make their skeleton jump out of their skin and kill them instantly. It's not gonna fly with me, motherfucker. I don't think there's a single, like, D&D question that you could ask me that would make me go, like, that would be able to back me into, like, a rules corner. I've heard them all. I know exactly the kinds of things that you're about to ask, and I'm... I thought it'd be funny, sorry. Look, I'm goofing, I'm memeing. It is very funny. Where's one of the rules? Every right, put it together. I really like that I made intentionally unoptimized characters. Yeah, see, that's part of the fun. I mean, it's fun for the player. It's not exactly fun for the... Well, it is fun for the Dungeon Master, but in a strange, macabre way. Like, I remember one of the campaigns that I DM'd, I was like... Like, straight up, I was, I had... In the party that I was DMing for, I had players who were both absolute kill-everything murder hobos, and characters who were pacifists and a dick about it. So I had to juggle, like... So I came into this really weird, like, mechanical problem, where, like, if I made my fights, like, somewhat balanced, you know, it would be a toss-up either way, because either the murder hobo would kill everybody, or the pacifist wouldn't help in any way, and the tide of battle would shift in the opposite direction. It was a fascinating challenge, and that's what I love about dungeon mastering. Paladins should have a subclass at level 1. I agree. Well, actually no, like clerics I can definitely understand, but paladins I can kind of see it for paladins. Like, yes, you know, you devote yourself into the service of a god or whatever, but I also feel like mechanically, because they're more martially based, I feel like... Oh, I feel like a lot of the perks you get from the martial classes at level 1 is literally just higher hit points and can use weapon. Like, at level 1, a fighter has 10 plus con hit points. A ranger has 10 plus con hit points. Like, you know, a paladin has 10 plus con hit points. Like, all the other classes have, like, far less. You know what I mean? So I almost feel like the level 1 bonus of a lot of the martial classes is kind of invisible, but it is one of those very important mechanic things that I feel like would get tipped the other way if you start going like, okay, at level 1, you have a much higher pool of hit points, you can wear heavy armor, and you get like a little bit of magic powers. You know what I mean? Same sort of idea, but are your bones being worn or carried? I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. That's one of my favorite things about Baldur's Gate coming out. Like, I feel like Baldur's Gate has given everyone a really good reference of like, no, this mechanically is how the game is supposed to work. Like, you are not, like, you know, everyone's on a flat plane, it's all measuring distances. That's how it's supposed to work mechanically. I'm lagging a bit. It's probably because if I wave my finger in front of the screen like that, that's it shoots my drop frames up. I gotta remember it. If I move too quickly, it's like it'll happen from time to time. I'm not gonna be shy about that. I'm streaming from a fucking Steam Deck right now. Do you think I have a gaming PC? No. I could lift up the machine that I'm using to stream this and like put it in front of the camera, and I'm almost tempted to do that, but there's so many cables running out of the back of it that I think it will explode. One of the most fun games I've ever done is where you rolled stats sequentially and you chose your class beforehand. It made for extremely interesting games. You had to think about how you make the classes work with what you had. I love shit like that. I actually had a similar mechanic that I set up, which was I should make a YouTube video about this someday, but I basically made a new updated I basically made like an updated deck of many things variant for my own sort of home campaign. And one of the cards you could pull on that deck of many things variant was one where you had to like re-roll your stats sequentially too, actually. But like, so literally like you would pull the card out of this revised deck of many things, and then you would have to re-roll all of your stats, and you would be forced to use whatever stats that you had. Now, it wasn't completely cruel. Like, you did have the option to add an extra d6 for the stat roll of like one particular stat that you wanted, so that if you were a fighter, you could like ensure that you still had a good strength or something like that, right? But if you chose to do that, one of the rolls would remove 1d6. So instead of rolling 3d6 and having the lowest d6 taken away, you would roll 3d6 and that would be the stat. So it's kind of a gamble, right? The ticking time bomb streaming system, gotta love it. Honestly, it's all I've known. I've got my smartphone plugged into a Steam Deck, which is connected to Wi-Fi that's in another fucking section of the house that I don't know how it's getting connected to down here. I don't know how any of this works. And I'm surprised that it's even still running. I have frozen grapes, nature's jelly beans. Oh god, I love frozen grapes. I should make that, maybe I will make a YouTube video about that Deck of Many Things homebrew that I did. Because it wasn't like a Deck of Many Things replacement specifically, it was like a Deck of Many Things variant that I made. I made it, it was focused on like the planes of the multiverse. Like every card that you would pull out would correspond to like a different plane on, you know, the Great Wheel of the Multiverse in Dungeons & Dragons mythology, right? Because the campaign we were playing had, you know, it was thematically based around multiverse stuff, blah, blah, blah. It made sense. But the main problem I had with the Deck of Many Things is that you could pull a card from the Deck of Many Things that could very feasibly ruin a campaign. And you could do that very easily. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you could pull a card that's like... You could pull a card from the Deck of Many Things that says, like, okay, you know, you own property now. Or, like, you have, like, $10,000. And it's like, well, this is the campaign now. Now we're the Property Brothers, and we're trying to, like, fucking solve this Haunted Castle mystery, or something like that. Or, like, you know, you get teleported into a small gem or something, and it's like, well, okay, we're trying to fight Strahd von Zarovich in his, like, creepy ghost town. Now we have to, like, go get someone who can, like, wish our friend out of a gem, sort of thing. Like, I feel like the Deck of Many Things has a lot of ways to derail campaigns completely. And so instead, I want to try my hand at creating a revised deck which wouldn't destroy a campaign. Like, my whole philosophy behind the deck was that I wanted to have effects that you could pull from cards in the deck that would be instant and permanent. So, like, I feel like those were the best cards that you could pull from the Deck of Many Things. Like, you could pull a card that would, like, change you forever. Or, like, something would happen immediately, and it would be big. But I wanted to do something like that that didn't have the potential to derail an entire campaign, or, like, create a new problem that would, like, completely detract from, you know, the campaign and the story that the Dungeon Master was trying to set up, right? So, what are some examples? Some examples were, like, your character, like, gains a level in a new class, but, like, a very specific class. Like, I think one of the cards you could pull was a Feywild card, and if you pulled the Feywild card, you would immediately gain one extra character level, but that level had to be in Sorcerer, and it had to be in the Wild Magic Sorcerer subclass. And, of course, there were stipulations. If you're already a sorcerer, you just got the Wild Magic Surge feat. You know, there was legalese in there. But yeah, you would instantly get magic powers, but it would be the Wild Magic Sorcerer, and Wild Magic Surges would also trigger if you used subclass features from your other class as well. So it's like, that's a pretty significant change, you know? Like, you get a new level, you get these new abilities, but you also get Wild Magic Surges that trigger on anything you do. Like, a fighter uses multi-attack, Wild Magic Surge. I had spaghetti. Yes! I love spaghetti. I love spaghetti. I'm running a rigged system too. I got a micro tower PC and I'm using a PCI docking station to run the side out of a video card that's twice the size of the monitor and 3 screens to run on it. Yeah, my setup is like... My setup is fucking alien. Like, I've got a Steam Deck. I have an external screen that I just don't use because it doesn't work half the time. I've got it connected to a mouse that's on my desk here. My keyboard is underneath my desk for some reason. I've got a Blue Snowball Yeti mic, which I should probably point towards my actual face. Yeah, let me just turn that down a little bit. But, like, yeah, my shit is all jerry-rigged, and it is a miracle that it even works. The camera deactivates sometimes, but that's, you know. Hey, what's your favorite food? My favorite food. And I say this is my favorite food because I will never consume it. I will never eat this, despite the fact that it is my favorite. My favorite food is a goopy carbonara. It is so good, but there is no way to justify those calories. It is just pasta and sauce and cream and goop. And I love it. And I had it all the time when I was a kid, and I was incredibly overweight because of it. Also, I played Descent into Avernus a while back, and while I was playing a Hexblade, and I used the circle from Summon Greater Demon to block a corridor by summoning an Abyssal Chicken and running. I'm not entirely sure if it's rules as written, but, you know, it works. I think that does work. It's one of those weird things where, like... So, like, the older summoning spells... It feels like the older summoning spells in D&D weren't built to accommodate new monster stat blocks, which is why I feel like a lot of more modern D&D summoning spells, instead of like summoning a particular monster, now just have like a particular stat block. Like the new Summon Undead or like Summon Beast. It's like you could summon a water beast or a flying beast or a land beast, and it was just like 3 variants of the same stat block, right? Whereas earlier in the game, you would have summon woodland creatures, where you could summon 2 or 3 fey creatures with a challenge rating of like a quarter or lower, which was like, first of all, needlessly complicated. Second of all, it used the fucking challenge rating system, which is bullshit, nobody touches anymore. And thirdly, doesn't take into account any creatures that were added to the game after the fucking spell was invented. So yeah, Summon Demon could feasibly help you summon an Abyssal Chicken. Because yes, that is technically a fiend, and it does meet the criteria of the spell, despite the fact that the creature did not exist when the spell was written, and so nobody would ever imagine that it would be used for that exact purpose. I don't know why I jiggled my boob in time with that, but, you know, here we are. How big is an Abyssal Chicken? I think an Abyssal Chicken is a medium creature, but I can look this up, and I will, because I am... No, it would be a small creature. Abyssal Chicken. Bestiary, Abyssal Chicken. It is a tiny fiend, so technically, an Abyssal Chicken would probably be the size of a regular chicken. God, I love being able to fucking Google the exact, like, size of a dumb, made-up creature that doesn't exist. It creates a circle that demons can't enter, and an Abyssal Chicken is pretty harmless. That is true. But it's funny, and that's the important thing, and that's what I value you for. I was expecting a corridor-sized chicken. Well, see, that's the beauty of it. You don't need a corridor-sized chicken. A chicken from hell with, like... I can't get an image. I can't get an image up on stream because my fucking setup is a disaster. But if you Google what an Abyssal Chicken looks like, it's basically just like a rotisserie chicken with fucking teeth. And, like, demon shit. So even if it's not necessarily the size of a corridor, if you see one of those in a corridor, you're not gonna walk down that corridor. You're just not. At least I'm not. I'm a coward. But I feel like you're not much better. I just had to look up what an Abyssal Chicken looks like. They're just weird-looking creatures. I mean, yeah, they are weird-looking creatures. I wouldn't walk past that in a corridor. If I saw one of those at the end of the corridor, or the end of a corridor, if I saw that in my house, I would leave. I would burn my property to the ground. Talking like I own property, that's another problem. But yeah, like, I'm fucking... I feel like we all forget that, like, you know, monsters in D&D and stuff, like, they'll get you. Since it's from hell, would it be considered cooked? It would be considered cooked to eat it. I.e., that's cooked, mate. That's Australian slang, I don't know if that tracks. But no, like, I had nowhere for that sentence to go. I just started talking. But yes, if it was, I mean, I feel like, yes, it would be considered cooked, but it would also be... It's a fiendish creature. Which, hold on, is it immune to fire damage? It may be immune to fire damage. It is not immune to fire damage, but it is immune to poison and being blound or poisoned. It's neither here nor there. I kind of like the idea that it's the vibe of the chicken, not the demon-proof circle. Oh yeah, like... You see a fucking abyssal chicken at the end of a hallway, like, no one's going near that. No one's going near that. Then I choose to just chase and eat it. This thing will actually, can it hurt you? I could look at the stat block. Okay, you know what? I'm looking at its stats now. I could kill this thing. I only got 2 attacks, bite and claws, 10 hit points. I could kill an abyssal chicken. I take it all back. I'm a god. I'm fucking goated. What am I doing? Nah, they wouldn't get me. I'm built different. See, that's exactly right. That's the fucking... That's the attitude we need to have. And what am I looking for? I feel like I'm looking for a particular paint down here. Abyssal fried chicken. I feel like they're already fried. You know what I'm saying? You just give me some pliers and a skewer. What the hell is a skewer? Oh, a skewer. I read that entirely incorrectly. I was thinking like a fucking like corkscrew, like a wine opener. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do with a chicken with that? Okay, I'm gonna try... I've got a couple of, what do you call it? I've got a couple of Turbo Dork paints that I've never really used, and that aren't gonna focus on... That's fine. I've got a couple of Turbo Dork paints that I'm thinking I want to try out on, this beast boss that I'm painting. I'm gonna try some new metallics on his, like, sword and claws. See how that works. Pizza pasta music. Yeah, I've got no fucking idea. I'm just listening to the... Focus on me. Focus on me! There we go. I'm literally listening to the, I'm listening to the, like, the Vampire Survivor soundtrack, because I just like listening to video game soundtracks where I work. And this does sound like the pizza theme from the Spider-Man PlayStation game. Actually, let's see. Is this... Do I want to gamble on using a paint that I've never used before? I don't think I do. I don't want to risk it. I just poured out some of the paint on my, like, little palette, and for my orcs, I try to go for, like, a yellowy, bronzy kind of color scheme, and the paint looked a little bit too, like, gray. It looked a little too cold. Flashbacks to what now? Yeah, I don't know what that's referring to. It's kind of a vibe, though. I do enjoy it. It's kind of a bop. Oh god, all of this talk has just made me want to, like, play more tabletop games. Ugh. Is a YouTuber that will play the song on repeat? Ah, god. Yeah, it sounds like a meme song. No, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. I feel like old YouTube was like a... That was a different beast, man. Like, I feel like old YouTube was like a different time completely. And you know what? That's probably for the best. You know what I mean? Like, we as a society have moved on. We've moved on from early 2000s Smosh. Now we have mid-2020 Smosh. Which, you know what? Good for them. I hear they do good work. I get TikToks of them sometime, and they just seem like they're making stuff. And I love that for them. Actually, I realize that the model that I'm working on, so the Beast Boss, right? He's got a metal arm holding his big chopper. And so I'm thinking I might be able to try out some of my new Turbo Dork metallics on that. Because normally I think I just use a lead belcher for that. But maybe I can use, because I've got this, oh, where is it? I like fucking threw it away. What happened to it? Where is it? Where did I put it? Which one of you took it? Which one of you took? Oh, here it is. I've got this like death by paint here, and you can see like it looks like a sort of like grayy black kind of paint, but I think it's got like a kind of tinge of blue to it. And I want to try it out on something, so I might give it a try out in the Beast Boss. Turbo Dork is designed to be used out of an airbrush. You can use it on a brush, it's just a bit temperamental. Yeah, I definitely get the feeling that it does say... It does say you can use it with a hand brush. It does say it on the... It does say that on the tin. But no, I only use like one Turbo Dork paint. What is it? It was on the nose drill for my my Megatrack Scrapjet. See that golden like fucking like drill in there? And I like how that came out. So I want to use the paint for something else. Speaking of new things, check this shit out. Got a new mech gun. Yeah. Found someone selling it on a Facebook Marketplace for $45. No tax. Sweet deal. I got two of them actually. You can clearly tell that I played like one game of... I played a game of Warhammer where I got absolutely bodied by people who ran like all heavy armor that my fucking lone orcs could not deal with in any capacity. And it changed me fundamentally as a person. So now I'm buying vehicles, I'm buying mounted guns, I'm buying like fucking mega cannons. I'll never let it happen to me again. Love your orc lore vids, by the way. You fully embrace the silliness of orcs. I mean, I just like to have fun, you know? Like, I actually... Like, I don't think a lot of people know this if they, like, started following me, like, around the time of the orc lore videos that I was doing. But I actually started doing that with Space Marines to begin with. Like, the original videos of that kind of, like, lore series was, like, dumb bits about Space Marines. And a lot of people said that, like, hey, this doesn't sound like Space Marine lore, it sounds like orc lore. And I was like, oh, maybe I should check that out. Turns out, orcs are pretty fun. And I've been with them ever since. I just love that they're silly little guys. And I very much appreciate that it kind of puts the rest of the Warhammer universe into perspective. Oh! Twitch.tv user Am Betty has redeemed 4,000 channel points. She's redeemed 4,000 channel points for Ethan to reassure her that everything's gonna be okay. Hey. I know you're going through a lot. It's a crazy time, you know? But as we have with every other crazy time that's come before us, we will persevere. Not because we're special, not because we're gifted or destined, but because we are human beings. And this is the exact same speech that I gave the first time somebody redeemed this, so I have to think of something new on the fly. You are a rock star. You are talented. You are worthwhile. You are gorgeous. And I know for a fact that you don't need my reassurance, because you're gonna pull through this, and you're gonna be okay, and you don't need me to tell you that, because you are gonna get it done all on your own. You understand? Shine on, you beautiful diamond. Ow, 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 ow. I swung him too hard. That kinda hurts. Am I bleeding? I'm okay. I always forget that I put that fucking redeemable in there. Twitch is a stupid platform. But you know what? We have fun here. And that's the important thing. What are some good, like, channel point redeem things? I used to have one, which forced me to do, like, 4 push-ups. I took that off after I started doing makeup stuff, because, like, I think I tried it on, like, one stream, and I did, like, a bunch of push-ups, and, like, eyeliner and mascara was just, ugh. So I don't know if I'll do that again. For 2,000 channel points, I will... You know, I think I very briefly had one on... I very briefly had a channel point redeem that was like, for 5,000 channel points, I will, like, give you business tips. And I would, like, pull out a business book, and I had a hotkey that I triggered every time somebody redeemed it, where, like, while I was reading the business tips, like, random business images would just start popping up around me. I should do that again. That's just fun. I used to do like wacky stuff on streams, and you know what? That's what I want to get back to. Like, that's the kind of fun that I like to have. Like, I like being a little whimsical. I like being a little bit, you know. That doesn't tell you anything. I mean, it tells you something, but nothing nice. What am I saying? But yeah, playing games, painting models, hanging out. Did you have a water button? I don't think I did. Like, I see, like, I know it's like a common thing for streamers to have like a hydrate button, where like anytime someone redeems a channel point, they have to like take a sip of their water. I feel like if I had that, I would drown. And also, I don't feel like I need that, because I feel like I am very hyper-aware of the amount of liquid that's in my body at any one time. And when I talk a lot, which is what I do on stream, because that's how content works, I guess. When I talk a lot, I become very, very aware of the fact that I dehydrate pretty quick. So, like, I'm schlupping this soda, boy. Because I've seen that shit get exploded. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It just drinks you to death. Maybe I'll have one of those redeemables where I like actually drink. Take a shot anytime someone donates 7,000 bits. I don't know. That's incredibly... Wait, is that low? How much is 7,000 bits? Is that $7 or is that $70? I'll take a shot for $70. $7? Maybe not. That motion lets me know that you're a jellicle cat. I don't know what that means, and I'm scared. You know what? Fuck the cats from the musical Cats. That's... Everybody in their adult life gets to have one thing that they can get unreasonably mad at. For me, it's the musical Cats. What the fuck was happening with that? What the fuck was that? The cats from the musical Cats make me unreasonably mad, and I know that's not a good thing, and definitely a flaw of my character, but I don't fucking care. There's like a robot cat at one point? Like, what the... I can't do this. I'm not doing this. I tried to look for my paint down there, but I couldn't find it. I think it's over here. Who took it? I lied. It's in a drawer. Someone had it for 100 channel points. There's no limit per person. Yeah, that's how they get you. I mean, could you drown someone that way if you just continued to redeem hydration channel point rewards? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how Twitch streaming works. The movie Cats was pretty bad. I feel like it was bad in a cultural way that we all appreciated at the time, right? Like, it wasn't Morbius bad. Only Morbius is Morbius bad. And I think we should convince Sony to put Morbius in cinemas again, because that would be really funny. Let's get him a third time. God, do you remember that? Like, everyone memed on Morbius so badly that Sony put it in cinemas again, thinking it was like a meme film that everyone was like jumping out of their way to see, and nobody saw it a second time. God, that's fucking crazy. Drown, no. Kill, yes. If you drink more than 2 liters of water at once, it thins your blood to the point where you can't carry oxygen, you die of water poisoning. I didn't know that water could poison you. I mean, obviously water can poison you, but you know what I mean. Actually, you probably don't. That sentence was weird. Oh, Christ. It's crazy how, like, the one thing that we need to live can also kill us. Stupid. Anything can poison you, it just depends on the amount. Yeah, like the amount of fucking oranges that I ate. Oof, oh boy. Look up the Win a Wii with your Wii contest. I won't do that. Fine. You got me with the insane sentence on the internet. Win a Wii. K&D's morning show controversially held an on-air contest, Hold Your Wii for a Wii, in which contestants were challenged to drink as... The little, like, snippet on Google search for the Wikipedia article ends there, and I'm scared. So were people holding their piss for a Nintendo Wii? Were people, like, irreversibly damaging their liver just so they could gain a Nintendo product? I mean, Nintendo fans are crazy. I could see some of them doing it. Not me. Someone died? Huh? God, you know what? I miss like radio contests. Like, I miss the fucking like bullshit stunts that radio stations would do. Like, you don't get that shit anymore. Like, you don't get people doing like wacky shit on the radio. Like, it's all TV and streaming now. Nobody watches it. I do kind of have a soft spot for radio, though. I still do listen to the radio sometimes. Like, I feel like we need to remember that, like, if you don't know what to listen to on Spotify, the radio's right there. They make all the choices for you. You know? Maybe I just have a soft spot for radio because I'm a big Frasier head. Ugh, that Frasier. What a good show. But yeah, I actually do kind of have a soft spot for radio. Like, it's... And, you know, I think it's crazy. Like, radio is actually still pretty relevant. Like, once they change to, like, digital radio stations, they just have stations that are, like, pumping out all the time. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Respectfully, your giggle is hella cute. Oh, sorry, I'll change it. Right as always. That's just how I laugh. That's just how I grimace. I'm a jovial guy. I'm a jovial little man. I like to find the joy and beauty in life. And you know what? I hope you do too. Yeah, I feel like with the pivot to digital radio, there's actually like you can find a station for anything. Like a Gregorian Chants 92.6 FM, that's my shit. It's actually a running joke in my family is that like every it's every December there is a digital radio station that is only live on the air during the month of December called Elf Radio. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It only plays Christmas music. It only plays Christmas music, and it plays nothing but Christmas music. And for the entire month of December, my father will put that shit on blast on the radio for the entire month. For the sole purpose of the fact that he knows that it deeply upsets people. You don't know how many Christmas songs there are until you listen to Elf Radio. Like, you might be thinking like, oh, they're just gonna play like Mariah Carey and Michael Bublé like fucking all day long. No! There's so much Christmas music out there. Since like the 1960s, there were like 5 new Christmas songs a year, and this radio station fucking plays them all. There are horny ones. There are horny ones and they're just in rotation. It's deeply upsetting. I hate it. And for the entire month of December, it's all just like, hey, Elf Radio's back online. I want to kill the elf that fucking invented Elf Radio. I can't stand Christmas songs after working retail 3 Black Fridays in a row. Good grief. Yeah, like, even just being a customer. Even just being a customer in a retail establishment, like, deeply upsets me during the holiday period. Because, like, God, I don't know. When it's just every store that you go, to, it's like, fucking, it's like, okay, well, this is annoying. At least I'm not subjected to it literally every waking hour that I am at my job. Every time I move my head, these things jingle jangle, and it's very, very funny. My mum would play Carol of the Bells and repeat literally for days on end. Dun 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 dun. Okay, Carol of the Bells does kind of fucking slap though. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, like Christmas music, yay. That song like fucking brings about the end times. Like that fucking shit right there that's scary. That's the shit they play in fucking Hunchback of Notre Dame anytime fucking Count Frollo is on screen. I hate how they've started doing it before Halloween in the States now. That sucks! October is not quite almost Christmas time, which is a definitive period of time between Halloween and Christmas. Or, sorry, between Halloween and the month of December. My apologies. I think that should be illegal. That should be illegal, because I think that falls under the cruel and unusual, like, punishment just for the people who have to work in those retail establishments. That sucks. We don't really have music for other holidays, do we? Like, do we have Easter music? We don't pump through Easter jams. Mariah Carey isn't out here going, like, fucking... all I want for Easter is a big brown egg. Ugh. Yuck. Ew. Easter music is Jesus music. He is risen. Well, you could say the same about Christmas. You could say the same about Christmas. I mean, aren't all holidays kind of Jesus-y? Well, obviously except for the ones that aren't about... You know what? I immediately redact that. Sometimes I say things on the internet that are wrong. Have you played Sekiro? I have not played Sekiro. That's the samurai one, right? It's a samurai one. No, I haven't, but it does look very good. That was, I think when I was still living in a share, that game came out when I was still living in a share house back in Melbourne. Why am I fucking listening to old castle music? What's happening here? But like, when I was back in Melbourne and I was like living in a share house, I think one of my roommates got really into Sekiro. So like, I would just like walk past him like on the fucking TV playing, being a fucking like samurai in like feudal Japan, and I'm like, you are living your best life, and I love that for you. I feel like that era of game. I feel like that era of like AAA games is one that I missed out on entirely, because like, I feel like I didn't play any major AAA games between the years of like, I don't know, 2016 to now, more or less. Like, there's very few big budget games that came out then. Like, I just missed them all. Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, didn't do them. And I feel like now that I'm like an adult who's like conscious in his like frontal lobes, I'm just like, you know what? I'm not really being gripped by like the big like AAA blockbusters anymore. I want like a weird, obscure indie game that I can finish in 3 hours and be done with it. Or I want Balatro. That's it. Is at the point where I'm doing challenge runs? Hell yes. Fucking love that. I like respect challenge runs in video games, but I also know that like I personally would never have the patience for them. Like, I love that they exist, and like I'm insanely jealous of people who'd be like, yeah, I love this game so much that like I 100% completed it in like every conceivable circumstance. Because like to me, it's like, yo, I beat this game. Now I can uninstall it and like free up space on my hard drive. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't have the passion for it. The passion, the energy. The energy. I'm getting old, I just don't have energy for anything anymore. I gotta stop saying I'm old on the internet, people might start to believe it. Ain't I a stinker? Alright, so the first layer of like silvery metallics in this guy is going on pretty great. I find that like base coating my minis in green like really helps with the application of like metallic colors, because like those silvers and those golds have actually come on quite nicely. You know what I mean? I realized I was old when I became a grandpa. I mean, that'll do it. I mean, what's the youngest you could feasibly be to be a grandfather? Actually, you know what? Let's not ask that question. That's a weird question to ask. Yeah, it's killing me because my controller's broken and it's basically a combat rhythm game. Nah, you're fine. Like, I fucking love that. Like, I love those sort of like third-person action games. I haven't played one in a while. Like, I think the last one that I played was like, God, like Jedi Fallen Order. Jesus. I haven't played many like AAA action games. My son's 19, I'm 41, grandbaby is just over 6 months. Aw, that's delightful. We love families in this house. That's a sentence I said. I'm sticking with it. Alright, I'm just gonna wait for this layer of paint to dry that I just put on him before I put on another. So I'm gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna be back in like 2 minutes. Maybe a bit more. Depends how long it takes me to pee. That's anyone's guess at this point. BFB. my mic still on? Oh, fuck, it is. Alright, I'm back. I've rehydrated. I've got my epic bacon. I'm ready to go. Oh god, that was so greasy. Ugh. Yeah, it really was just a mouthful of bacon, wasn't it? Why did we love epic bacon in like the 2000s? Was that a conspiracy theory of some sort? I don't know. One thing I didn't fuck up is that they became great people, and that's worth more than anything. Hell yes! We love a family well raised. What do you think of the Unearthed Arcana for 5e? I'm actually really out of the loop when it comes to a lot of the stuff they're doing with Dungeons & Dragons lately. Like, I'm playing D&D games on a much less regular basis at this point. Like, I'm down to like one D&D game a month. And even then, with like, you know, work schedules and everything like that, it can even be less than that at the best of times. You know what I mean? So like, I'm actually like super out of the loop with like all of the, you know, new stuff that they're trying out. Like, when I was in my like prime of D&D, when I was back home with like my like original D&D crew, I'm covered in grease. Yeah. Like, when I was back at home with my original crew, like, we were, like, every time there was an Unearthed Arcana drop, like, we'd basically, you know, have a, like, round table podcast discussion about it. Like, what do you think? What's the, you know, is it broken? Is it busted? Like, it's, you know, we would get, like, well into it. So I made an area control fighter that's fucked? Hell yes. But see, that's the problem with a lot of, like, the Unearthed Arcana stuff. Because it's still in testing, like, you can break some shit. Like, I could do an entire YouTube video about my experience playing with a Mystic, which is like the psionic class that they were toying around with, before they abandoned it completely. Because Mystics, as they were in the Unearthed Arcana, was just absolutely fucked. Like, they were busted, they were broken, they absolutely could not, like, they just couldn't be beat. Like, there was literally, with the Mystic class built the way that it was, there was no reason to play anything else. A Mystic could bring somebody back from the dead 3.5 times more than a Cleric, assuming they were both, like, I think level, like, 5 or level 8. Like, I ran the math. A Mystic could bring 3.5 times as many people back from the dead in a Revivify kind of scenario without spending any money. No material components, no nothing. They just were better and could do their shit for free. Like, it was nuts. Because there was a fighting style called Tunnel Fighter where you could use a bonus action to make your opportunity attacks not cost your reaction. I do remember that. I do remember Tunnel Fighter. It was a very strange, like, I remember the wording being, like, really specific about it, and so I was like, I can see why they didn't go with it, even if there was, like, I don't even know what they were going for. Like, it seemed so niche and environmental that it was like, how do you even, like, find yourself in situations where, like, you can do that thing? And you mix it with Polearm, Master Sentinel, and Echo Knight. Yeah, and then you just, like, you just literally, like, double the amount of ground you can cover. God, that's fucking crazy. Game balance in D&D is so weird, because it's like, oh, this is unbalanced. Like, it's not like you're, like, if something is unbalanced, it's not like you're playing a competitive online game with, like, other people. You're just, like, joking and having a fun time around a table with some of your closest friends and a pizza. It's like, who cares if something gets busted, you know? Like, oh, you found a loophole in the rules so you can do this thing really easily. Does it ruin your experience? Does it ruin anyone's experience? The Dungeon Masters, maybe. And then again, who's to say? Because like, at the same time, like, sure, you have like a really broken character. The Dungeon Master can just like, I don't know, curse you. Just like give you a debuff, or they can put you in situations where like your super overpowered thing just isn't useful. Then again, you can't really do that with Mystics because they can just do fucking anything. They can do anything, and they will do anything. You put them on a sinking ship, they can fly now. What do you think of combining actual science with D&D? This has always been something that's a bit of a strange... It's always been a bit of a strange thing for me, because, like... I like, D&D is a game of mechanics and, like, gameplay rules. Like, it's not real, you know? The rules are there to adjudicate what is... like, what happens. What the outcomes of particular actions have. So, you know, it's very all well and good to say that, like, you know, oh, this physically wouldn't do this, or like, you know, I remember there was this weird edge case we were having in one campaign where like people were like very deep underwater, and like, oh no, if you're like that far down underwater, like you'd get the bends or something like that, or there was something to do with like water pressure because they were so deep. It's like, well, technically at this D elevation, like this would happen, or like you would be crushed. And I'm like, this isn't real. There is no mechanic in the Dungeon Master's Guide, nor the Player's Handbook, that stipulates once you get down to a certain pressure. I'm lying. There is actually rules for water pressure in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. I hold on. What is it? Depth. I don't know. There's some rule that actually, like, in the DMG stipulates something about water pressure or depth. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but that is actually in there. I think. From memory. Science is for nerds, D&D is for cool guys. That's absolutely right! Cool people only in this imaginary dice game about wizards and warlocks. How do I have to suck that in? I don't want to ruin my lipstick. D&D is a game for cool guys. Okay, I need to use a bit more of a dark brown here. But yeah, I think that there is like a little bit of a suspension of disbelief that has to happen when running a D&D campaign. Like, it can't all be... like, it sort of does have to run on like I feel like it has to run on movie logic, right? Like, it needs to run on a kind of... like, it needs to have a sort of logic where it's like... you know, it's something you would see in a movie rather than something that would, like, actually happen in real. Like, if you could see someone doing it in a movie, I feel like that's the justification of what's, like, possible or whatnot. I thought about how polymorph creates and destroys matter, which is impossible, so I assumed that it was being translated into energy, not to use in games, which is kind of interesting. Well, there's a... well, see, here's the thing. It is a magic spell that turns you into a chicken. And you know what? I think that's all the game needs to be. Sometimes a spell turns you into a chicken. And I think that's beautiful. It could happen to anyone. It could happen to me. It could happen to you. I don't think I've ever been polymorphed in D&D. Have I ever been polymorphed in D&D? I don't think I have. I think I'm missing out on a quintessential D&D experience. I think I'm missing out on a quintessential D&D experience. Like, I don't feel like... yeah. I feel like there's a lot of, like, quintessential spells that have just never come up in my D&D campaigns. Like, I've never been polymorphed. I don't think anyone in my campaigns have ever been feeble-minded. Feeble-mound. then again, feeble-minded. Feeble Mind is like a bullshit spell that, like, I feel like that's only there. I feel like that's one of those spells that only a Dungeon Master should have, and honestly, they shouldn't use it. Unless they want to be like a dick to somebody. Oh, you failed a saving throw and now you have an intelligence of 1 and can't speak language? That's a fun spell to have happen to you in an imaginary game about talking to people who aren't real. The entire game of Dungeons & Dragons is just you, like, talking to people and saying something happens. Like, that's... You gotta take their ability to do just that? Stupid. Alright. I feel pretty good about this model. I think I'm getting into the stage where it's like... I think I'm only really doing, like, minor touch-ups at this point. Or just, like, making sure everything's covered. Sorry if I'm talking too much. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. I mean, this is a space to yap. I'm just like talking shit. People can talk as much shit as they want. Yeah, like right now, I think I'm in a good space here where it's like I'm literally like just putting touch-ups on like, you know, the base browns. I think the yellows are in a good spot. Like I always have a tough time. Like what do you call it? Dealing with yellow colors when it comes to mini painting. Because like it's so difficult to get the consistency of a yellow paint right. Well, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna sit here in like fucking Fuzz Town, apparently. There we go. My local Warhammer painting store is having like a... Yeah, they're having a painting competition. I was hesitant to call it a competition because it's not like a serious thing. But like they were doing a painting thing and like I wanted to have like a model... I wanted to have like a new model that was like ready for entry. Like I wanted to push myself to like finish a model by... God, I think the deadline's like next weekend. And I just don't think that's gonna happen. Like, I wanted to get this Beast Boss done because he's, like, A, I sort of like what I did with him, and also what I did, which I think I can show if I have the spare parts lying around. Where are we? Where's some, like, pieces that I want to put through this? There's one down here. I don't know where. It's concerned I can't find them. But basically, I've been painting up, squigs. So I could, like, put them on the... So I could put them on the base with the Beast Boss. So I'd sort of sit down, like... here, like, so, you know, he'd have like a bunch of squigs on his base as well, which I really like the look of these funky little guys. What a rowdy little guy! I know, right? He's rowdy as fuck. In fact, there's one around, and I'm actually a little concerned that I don't know where they are. But like, because like I want to put like a couple on his base. Because, like, I've got space for, like... I measured it out. I got space for 3 squigs on its base there. One of the squigs is, like... I only used legs that, like, weren't touching the ground. Because, like, normally the squig legs have, like, 1 touching the ground or 2 touching the ground. And, like, 1 in the air in, like, a running pose sort of thing. But I put one of the squigs with, like, both, like, mid-air legs. And if you flip him upside down, it looks like he's getting a belly rub. It looks like he's rolling on his back to get, like, a belly rub. And I thought that was cute. And that's the end of that sentence. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this guy. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this guy before the like painting competition deadline. So I think I'm just gonna submit my Gazgul that I finished ages ago. Like, I've had him finished for a while, but I'm actually, like, I'm really happy with how his paint job came out. Like, straight up. That saves the focus there. Yeah, like, his face came out great. I feel like his bone claw came out really nicely as well. Ugh. I did good. I've outdone myself. Ooh, if I use Create or Destroy Water over a vampire's head, would they take damage? That is an excellent question. I don't think they would. Create or Destroy Water. Blah, 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 blah. Clean water in an open container. Rain falls. Blah, 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 blah. Well, hold on. Let me check. What is the vampire stipulation of running water? God, they have a big stat block. Okay, so vampires take acid damage if they end their turn in running water. I don't think Create or Destroy Water would do that, because... Because running water is like, that's a river or something, right? Like, that's a body of water that is in motion because of, like, tides and stuff. I don't think rain counts as running water. And the vampire would have to end their turn there. So they could very easily start their turn in any sort of, like... Because using Create or Destroy Water, you have to create that water in a... Like, you have to create that water in a container. So you wouldn't just be able to drop a cube of water on a vampire's head. You could create rain in the space where the vampire is, but I don't think that would... that would trigger the stipulation for a vampire ending their turn in running water. I don't think it would. Maybe that's anal of me. I don't know. Maybe I might go half and half. You know what I mean? Could you make a puddle? A puddle is a still block of water. I'm like, running water, I feel like, very, like, actively needs to be, you know, like a river or a body of water that is in motion. Like, I don't think the stipulations for... Like, I don't think the stipulations for, like, just... You can't just create a puddle and, like, push a vampire in there and have him take 20 acid damage. That's not how that works. The water's got to run. They've got to end their turn there. The Ethan! It's me! You're correct to say that. Twitch.tv user the Jimble Wimble. What's poppin'? I'm paying little guys and talking about fucking Dungeons and Dragons. I'm having a blast. Eyeliner on fleek as usual. Thank you. I try my best. And you know what? The last couple of times I've done eyeliner and makeup, I've kind of popped off. I think I just popped off my little... Nope, they're fine. I like these things. I like these little, like, jewelry studs that I put on there. Subtle, but I like it. Well, again, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like the last couple of times I've done eyeliner, I'm very proud of the results that I've got. You know? I feel very happy with them. I'm getting better. All it takes is, like, additional practice. Additional... Who knew that in order to get better at something, you just had to do the damn thing? But you could push a vampire into a puddle and call them a dork, which is emotionally devastating. Yeah, if I was a vampire, such as Count Strahd von Zarovich, and I got pushed into a puddle, I would be pretty livid. Actually, can a vampire be rendered prone? They might be immune to the prone condition. They are not immune to the prone condition. And hey, everybody shut the fuck up, because I found my new favorite stat block in Dungeons & Dragons history, which simply reads, Vampirate. Vampirate. A vampirate is a medium undead creature, typically lawful evil, with 42 hit points, a vulnerability to radiant damage, and the traits, and they have the 3 following traits. And of course, again, we are talking about a vampirate. A vampire pirate has 3 traits. Unusual nature, they don't require air. The vampirate doesn't require air or drink. That's the exact wording on the stat block. They do not require air or drink. They do not require drink. They have spider climb, which means they can climb a difficult surface, including upside down on ceilings without needing to make an ability check. That's terrifying, but it also tracks. The third trait that a vampirate has simply reads, explode. When the vampirate is reduced to 0 hit points, it explodes in a cloud of ash. Oh, okay, that's not as fun. That's more of a vampire thing and not a pirate thing, so I'm kind of disappointed at that, actually. I thought they were just so chock full of, like, grog and whimsy that they just literally fucking explode. God damn it. D&D is fun. I've started to get involved with the groups in my uni for D&D. Hell yes! I feel like playing D&D is a great way to meet people. And I also, see, listen. One of my biggest concerns about meeting new people, which is why I don't do it. One of my biggest concerns about meeting new people is that, like, you know, what if they turn out to be evil? What if they turn out to be racist? Like, what if they turn out to be, like, a dick, you know? I feel like playing Dungeons & Dragons with someone speedruns the entire, like, friendship process. For better or for worse. Like, if you meet someone new, and you're, like, you know, just getting to know them, you know, it can usually take a while for you to figure out that they are racist. I feel like if you play Dungeons & Dragons with someone, if someone is racist, you will learn about it a lot sooner than you possibly, like, could have. And I think that's one of the most beautiful parts of the game. Not even from the, like, fantasy racism and shit like that. Like, if you're, like, not even from, like, the fantasy racism and stuff like that in D&D, but if it's like, oh, you have an entire, like, whimsical, fantastical world at your fingertips, and the first thing you do is, like, go out of your way to be mean and kill people. A little racist. A little bit of racism in there. Like, you could do things in D&D that aren't, like, directly racist in any capacity, but I feel like if you do those things, then that's sort of like, okay, you as a person. A little racist. A little. I'm just making noises now, but that's part of the fun, you know? Like, I feel like you can learn a lot about someone if you are in an environment where it's like, we have an entire fantastical world at our fingertips, and this is what you choose to do with it. This is the kind of person you choose to be. Compelling. Maybe I should join like a public D&D game or something like that. There's a fine line between being a funny murder hobo, DM torturer, and a genuinely scummy person who gets to live out fantasies. Yeah, that's definitely right. Like, if somebody, like, gets into a D&D campaign and immediately makes it all about themselves and, like, their character, if they have, like, if they have, like, main character syndrome, ugh. They could be racist, but even if they're not, they're still a dick. Have you played The Messenger? Because the music reminds me of it. I have not. Chances are, like, if you're going to recommend me a game, Like, if you're gonna recommend me, like, a game or, like, any sort of pop culture anything that is, like, I don't know, has been relevant in the last 10 years, chances are I haven't played it. Because, like, I don't know, I'm so behind the times on, like, anything, I'm so behind the times on, like, anything that's, like, relevant, or fresh, or good, or cool. Like, I am a 90-year-old man in the body of whatever this fucking thing is. One moment. Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. It's like... That's one of those quirks I have. I will say, though, speaking of video games that are in vogue and popular, I do get notifications anytime Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 comes out. Or anytime Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine comes on sale. And it is on sale now, and I am kind of tempted, but it is still $50. No. I still feel like $50 for... I still feel like $50 for, like, a modern AAA video game. That's still too much for my liking. I only pick up games when they're, like, $20 or less. You know what I mean? 50 quid. That's 50 Canadian dollars. I do have to, like, be very stipulative about that, which is probably, like, I don't know. It's like... It's still too much money. Like, listen, I would buy it if I could stream it, because I'm doing the whole, like, I'm doing stuff on Twitch now. I would buy it if I could, like, stream it on Twitch, but my computer can't run it. I'm doing this on a fucking Steam Deck, as I said. Yeah. Yeah. What about it? Completely zoned out there. And Betty has redeemed Highlight My Message for 100 channel points. Meow for your kittens. Meow. That's all you get. I'm waiting for it to hit Humble Bundle or something. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a Humble Bundle game. Because this is what happens. Like, I love Humble Bundle because it is a perfect place to pick up games that have been out for long enough to have so much DLC on them. And I feel like that's going to be the thing with, I think that's going to be how Space Marine gets. Like, it's getting DLC, they're cosmetic DLCs and everything like that, but I feel like once it starts having more DLC, it will go on sale for more, because, like, you pick it up cheaper, and then you buy more DLC, and that's, like, how the money gets through. Blah, blah, blah. That wasn't a sentence. Thoughts on Marvel Rivals? I fucking love Marvel Rivals. I haven't played it in a while, because my desk is a mess, and I like to play with a keyboard and mouse, but honestly, it was really kind of scratching that Overwatch itch for me for a little bit there. I do enjoy it. I do not enjoy how they laid off, like, most of the team after the game was really successful. I think that was a cunt move, but they did it, and hey, that's video games for you, I guess. I am a chaos agent. God damn it, you truly are. Sorry, we're going to go. Have you played Dead Cells? Yeah, Dead Cells is also not one that I've played. I have heard good things about it, though. I have heard good things about it. Like, cause that's like one of those, like, I can picture it. I've never seen I've never played Dead Cells, but I can see the splash art in my mind. Like, I'm seeing a man, it's on I can see the back of a man, he's like holding a sword or something, and it looks like he's going to do some like roguelite shit. That's the psychic image that I see. I should play more video games, honestly. What are you supposed to do? Reward people for their hard work? Absolutely not. You made one of the most popular fucking... You made one of the most popular, like, you know, hero shooters in modern history? Back to the job market for you. It's evil. I do very much enjoy the game, though. I do like what I played of it. I haven't played it in a while. Like, I haven't played any of the new season or anything like that. But I could. And you know what? Maybe I will. I feel like Marvel Rivals would be a great game to play, like, with friends. You know what I mean? And I just haven't found any friends who... That was a bad place to end the sentence. I haven't found any friends. I just haven't found any friends who are, like, you know, into the hero shooter at the same time. Because, yeah, I've played Marvel Rivals for long enough that I'm like, ooh, should I try, like, the competitive mode? And then I was like, no, I can't go back there. Ethan, no, you know what happens. You know where this road leads. It's not good for anyone. Could be good for me, though. Yeah, they're doing roguelike shit, but you can stack buffs kind of similar to D&D, and it's so satisfying. Oh, yeah, like, you give me a roguelike game when number go up, I'm fucking in. I have over 100 hours of Balatro. Over 100 hours of Balatro, and I am not stopping anytime soon. It's been a while since I've, like, won a round of Balatro, and I won a round of Balatro, like, literally last fucking night. And I won, and it's like, do you want to continue in endless mode? And that's when it kind of hit me, where it's like, what am I doing? I'm literally just, like, playing this game to see number go up. Like, I've unlocked all the cards. I've unlocked all the decks. Like, there's nothing else for me. I'm just playing the game for the sake of playing the game. And it's been so long since a game has, like, given me that experience. I think it's kind of beautiful. It's kind of beautiful. You gonna play Night Rain? I don't know much about that one. For me, like, it's really hard for me to get into, like, modern games that, like, come out in the modern era. You know what I mean? Because, like, my taste in games are so simple that it's like, sure, I could spend, like, $80, $90 on this modern AAA video game, or I could spend, like, 20 on this game that's been out for, like, 2-ish years at this point, and still have just as good of a time. You know what I mean? And listen, I'm sure modern games are great, but, like, I got a Steam Deck. I like to chill in my bed and play Balatro or fucking Bloons Tower Defense. I'm a simple man. I have simple tastes. And I'm happy. You know what? Yeah. I am happy. It's very good for the health of your lizard brain. Number go up games are my fucking kryptonite. And I need to understand that. I need to acknowledge that so that I don't get sucked in and fall into their traps. You're talking about how roguelike games were good and how multiplayer is good? Oh yeah, I love multiplayer. I don't think I've ever played a multiplayer roguelike game, though, now that I think about it. But yeah, love multiplayer, love roguelikes. Okay, maybe that's another thing. I enjoy good roguelikes, you know what I mean? Like, okay, that sounds like I'm being judgmental, but like, I'm sure I love bad roguelikes too, but like, if a roguelike appeals to me, then I'm very much into it. Like, I got reeled into Hades for a second there. Oh god, I should go back to play Hades again. Still never ended up playing the second one. But I also feel like that would be a good time for me. You know what I mean? Okay, like okay, I'll put it this way. This is what like, I don't go out of my way to search for roguelikes, but if someone like recommends me a roguelike, that's not going to turn me off the game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, if someone like describes a game to me when they're recommending me, if someone is recommending me a game, fuck, I can't talk. If someone is recommending me a game and they describe it as a roguelike, that neither puts it up or down in my brain. Like, that just simply is. Like, that's just like saying it's a shooter or it's a third-person parkour game. Both of those things would actually like make the game go up or down in my brain if you told me those attributes about them. But a roguelike is like a true neutral entity. Like, if a roguelike is good, I enjoy it. If a roguelike is bad, I don't enjoy it. It doesn't get any bonus points from me for being a roguelike. Play Splunketer, Plunky, Plank. Well, those three words that you just said aren't games, so I guess I will just never play whatever it is that you're trying to communicate to me. I don't know. Like, tipped up my cup so I couldn't get to the juice at the bottom. The juice was not loose. Heroes of Hammerwatch 2 is a very good roguelite multiplayer. That sounds like a limited time game mode available in Overwatch 2. And I feel like that's a scathing mean thing to say. But that's just my initial gut reaction. Heroes of Hammerwatch 2. Like, anything with... Why? Listen, Overwatch has been done. It's been out for a while. I feel like we can't just have... Like, you can't just be putting watch in the name of your game anymore. Like, that's... We as a society have moved on. That was incredibly cruel. Yeah, I know. I didn't feel great about that one. But am I wrong? Therein lies the questione. Alright, let's see. Alright. So what's the problem? Because like the yellows that I use is like from an army painter bottle, like I can't just pull out a little bit of yellow to use. Which sucks, because whenever I paint yellow on my models, there's only like a little bit of like highlighting here and there, right? But anytime I put out yellow, I have to like sklorp it onto my palette, and then I have to spend the next 20 years painting yellow because I don't want to like waste all the paint that I poured out. Ugh. It's 3 in the morning. Do I go to sleep like a coward or do an insomnia? I think you should go to bed. Because I think that bed is important, and I'm not going to get you to jeopardize your health. End of sentence. No. I mean, I'm the worst person. I'm the worst person to ask that question, because like listen, if it is past 9 p.m. and I'm still awake and conscious, I know that I'm in for a bad time. I fucking love my 9 p.m. bedtime. Like, I will never stay up later than 9 p.m. if I can help it, because that's when the demons come out. That's when the rage. That's when the rage. How long are you think you're gonna be streaming for? I usually try to like push it for 3 hours, but I might go for like 2.5 today. You know, it's a chill Wednesday. I'll just be chilling and yapping, just a wee tad longer, you know. Maybe like 30 to 45 minutes. I don't know. But yeah, I think the cadence in terms of streaming that I'm gonna get into is like 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. I think. Well, on Sundays I might on Sundays I might stream games with other people on some like other channels and stuff like that. Like this Sunday, I'm preparing to stream on with a buddy of mine to play Deep Rock Galactic. So keep an eye on my socials, and I'll talk some more about that. Hello, Twitch.tv user Putty05. Hope you are doing well, you incredible person. Thank you. Stop it. Stop it. I am doing well, and I hope you're doing well too. I hope you'll be back for PAX. That is a question that I'm currently asking myself, because I genuinely do not know. I have to start thinking about that. Because, like, look, unless something, like, really big happens over the next couple of months, I think I'm only going to be back in Australia for one trip. And right now I'm considering whether that trip is... Right now I'm considering whether that trip is Christmas or PAX, and like that's the decision that I need to make. Hey, Putty05, thank you for the 100 bits. Wow, I forgot that was a feature that Twitch had. I need to put like an actual like proper like sound effect that happens there. I didn't know, like I completely forgot that was a feature that Twitch offered, so I didn't. Yeah, look at that. Like there's no like sound there. There's not even a graphic. What the fuck? I am neglectful in my content duties. Thank you, Putty05, for the gifted sub. And for subscribing yourself. Actually, no, I think it was just a gifted sub. Anyway, okay, there was something. That's moving. Something's happening. There's no sound, though, which is very weird. I feel like there was a sound there that was supposed to happen. But no, thank you, Putty05, for the gifted and personal sub. I very much appreciate it. I don't know why that sentence took me so much to say. I was this close to saying, you appreciate it. You appreciate it. But that would be incorrect. Well, thank you for reminding me that I need to, like, create fucking, like, sound effects that happen anytime someone does that. I feel like I did that. I feel like they exist. Hold on. I can test this. There's no... There's supposed to be a sound that plays there. You know what? I don't have the sound effect set up for that. I don't have an audio input for my... fucking stream elements thing. That is so depressing. And I appreciate you, Putty05. Thank you again. Making my night. Well and truly. And apparently I'm 25% on my way to completing my first subscriber goal, which I did not know that I had. You know what, Nico_JPEG? The Viagra boys are touring, and I love that for them. That's like an After Dark Venga boys. It's a band. I assumed that much. If any outfit titled The Viagra Boys are either, like, a scene indie band, or a group of the worst vigilantes known to man. Okay. Whoa! What the fuck just happened? Putty, 7 gift subs. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my god. Thank you. Holy shit. Jesus Christ. I didn't know that that was a thing that you could do. And apparently, you've started a hype train, which is a very scary, prospect because I don't know what that is or how to do it. Holy shit, thank you. Oh my god. What the fuck is happening? Even Purple QQ got some. Which I have been slowly, Listen, Purple QQ, I don't know who you are individually, but you are a valued member of my chat, and I have been individually putting your messages into Google Translate to figure out what they mean. And you know what? I appreciate you. And I appreciate you too. Twitch.tv user Putty05 for the 200 extra bits. I don't know. See, the thing is, I don't know what any of this means. This could just be, like, this is money, right? Like, bits are like the celebratory currency that Twitch has, to my understanding. Hold on. Twitch.tv user Purple QQ. Let me do this. Let me do this in a way that you can understand. There we go. 1 bit is 1 cent. You know what? Honestly, that's a more sound conversion rate than AUD to Canadian dollars. I will tell you that much. The economy is in shambles, and I don't know how much my money is worth anymore. Oh my god. What a night. I made some good progress on him too. Where is he? Yeah, there he is. I'm so happy that he's already like, he's getting there. Slowly but surely. See, now I know that like having a hype train on a Twitch channel is now going to go down in history as the single most personally stressful experience that I, as a human being, could potentially have. Because, like, to me, I am of the mind that in my tiny little ape brain, when I see number go up, that's like, ooh, yeah, I want that. I need that. Like, that activates my neurons, you know what I mean? But when the number go up is directly tied to people spending money on my account, I'm like, oh no, I'm anxious. I don't like that. Let's just leave the hype train there. Let's not touch it. Let's just do it. Let's just do its thing. Let's just do it. Don't just pretend it's not there. We're having a fun time. We're painting models. I don't have to think about the economy. Do I need to sponsor you a second camera just for the mini? Listen. Listen, my current tech setup is basically potatoes and wires that are all connected together, right? I am currently streaming this off of a fucking Steam Deck that's sitting on my desk right now. Like, this is just a hangout where I'm just showing off my toys. Like, that's the vibe that I'm personally trying to bring here. I think if I was to plug a second camera into my machine, it would explode. Like, I think if I was to put a second camera on this thing, I've already gotten like 2 USB splitters back there, pulling all the data wires every which way. I think if I was to plug in a second camera, someone from the government would come to my house and end my life. I will give you money and you will like it. And you know what? I do like it. And I appreciate you specifically. And everyone else, but mostly you. The fuck was that? Why am I a gorilla? Sometimes my body just does shit before I can even think about it. And you know what? I just have to accept that happens. You can set up a wireless cam so it isn't actually plugged in. That would be pretty pog, actually. I don't know. Okay, I would actually have to look into that. That could revolutionize the game. But that will be compounded by the fact that I am, like, running my stream off of a Steam Deck, which is a Linux-based machine, which, historically, is an absolute fucking nightmare to plug stuff into. Oh, God. One day I'll buy a computer. With those 7 gifted subs, I can now justify spending 2,000 Canadian dollars on upgrading my machine. Maybe someday. I do want to start, like, you know, putting more effort into, you know, YouTube and video content, specifically for that purpose. You know, like, I did the math. All I need to do is get 320,000 monthly views on my YouTube channel, and I can pay my rent. Right now, I think I only have, like, 1,000 views on my YouTube channel, but if I gun it, I can get there. Are you using OBS or what? Yes, I am using OBS. But not Streamlabs OBS, because that's Streamlabs OBS is a scam. It takes too much computational power, and it does the same thing. And it's like fucking mimes you for crypto or something, I don't know. Go knock on LTT's door and ask them to build something. God damn it. Make something for me! Make shit that works on my Linux machine, you cowards. See, now I feel like I'm gonna be one of those, like, weirdos. It's like, your thing isn't built for Linux. I'm not going to use it. But, like, I have a Steam Deck. It runs Linux. Like, ugh. Like, yeah, that's literally a thing. Like, on my old computer, I very briefly was able to test out using, like, multi-streaming for a little bit there. So, like, I could stream on both, like, Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And I could do it with this really simple plugin that I literally just had to, like, drag into the folders, of my OBS, right? And it was a super easy thing to do. Like, I literally just dragged it to the plugins folder, and then I could stream on both, like, Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And it was great. I tried to set up the same thing on my Steam Deck, which runs Linux. Shit's a fucking nightmare. I gotta, like, go into directories and open up the fucking console. Like, what are you doing? I'm just a guy. I'm just a sweet little internet boy. I cannot think about any of this. My brain isn't made for it. But yes, base OBS is better. 100%. I feel like Streamlabs OBS is, like, that's just taking advantage of the fact that OBS is open source. Like, that's just the company going like, well, we're just gonna take OBS and slap our own, like, store and shit on there to, like, extract money from people. Like, they didn't build any of it. They didn't do shit. They just co-opted it. Capitalists. Gugh. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. Capitalists. Gugh. You can't see my hand down here, but I was going like... It's going here! That's where the text would be. I just saw what that looked like on the camera, and I'm not proud of that. I'm running that as well as a wireless security cams, as remote cams. Hell yeah! Listen, I completely... It did not occur to me that there are cameras that I could get that wouldn't need to be plugged into somewhere. That'd be revolution. Actually, would that still work? Because it'd still be like a bunch of data going through my machine. I don't know. I'll give it a try. Who knows? Maybe it'll work. Either way, for the time being, I'm happy just like sitting around, chilling out, and every now and again, being like a villager from Animal Crossing going, We have fun here. I just tapped the mic, that was probably awful. I think I'm relatively, like... I'm in that stage of mini painting where I'm like, okay, I've only got, like, tiny little details to add now. 90% of it's done. It's just all of the, like, minor ancillary bits, and then I can start, like, shading and doing highlights and everything like that. And I don't know where any of my paints are now. Oh, they're on the floor. Of course they are. Yeah! God, my head looks flat when it's viewed from the top. Yeah. I'm having such a fun time painting this model, despite the fact that it is going to be absolutely useless to me on the tabletop. At least for the time being. I don't have any Beast Snagger boys I can run the Beast Boss with, but you know what? I like this man. He looks cool, and I want to see him painted up to completion. I want to finish him. Unlike all of my other projects that are just sitting around. I want to finish as many models as I can, because then I can justify buying more models. Or rather, in my case, I can justify buying all the models that I've already bought. I've been gifted a Tau army to run. Holy shit! Gifted an entire army? That's money! Using one-page rules. Oh, that's interesting. I've never considered running Warhammer models using any rules other than the standard ones. Although I guess, you know, if they are just like miniatures, you could probably do whatever the fuck you want with them. Using one-page rules for an entire army is like... That's pretty nutso-butso to me, but like, I love the sheer concept of it. Yeah, roll 1d6 to shoot. Do I screen print another shirt that is a really cool band? Yeah, Rainbow Comic Sans. You know what? I feel like we should all get into screen printing this year. I feel like that's a really cool way to like make your own merchandise or like apparel. And we should be doing more of that. Just get a cheap shirt, just get a cheap white shirt, and make it your own. Infinite customization. Well, there's a shoebox full of plastic bits. Oh yeah, like, that's the best shit. Like, you don't need those fucking fancy army boxes for like $200. Anytime I'm at the Warhammer store, they're always trying to get me on the $200 army box. I'm like, you know what? I got Tupperware. And I'm fine with that. Comic Sans equals win. Everything should be in Comic Sans. Well, okay, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here, chum. Pal. We still have matters of taste to reconcile, you know what I mean? I feel like I needed to paint something else in Wraithbone. I can't remember what it was. Listen, I'm gonna say this. I feel like we all joke on Comic Sans a little bit too much. It's a fine font. It's very readable for young people and people with low vision. Like, I actually don't know if that's true, now that I think about it. Is Comic Sans readable for people with low vision? I feel like I've seen Comic Sans used in the specific context of, like, assisting people with low vision. But I'm in two minds as to whether or not that was the right choice. That could have been the correct choice, but it also could have been, like, way out of left field and entirely inappropriate. And I cannot remember which is which. Yeah, it's fun. I can rip off band merch for like £2. I mean, is it really a rip-off if you're putting your own spin on it? You're making it your own, and I think that's beautiful. It is very helpful for dyslexics. Yes! I was right about something. For once. Doesn't happen often. When it does, I drink it in. There's nothing in here. I've been lied to. That's karma for all the times I have lied on the internet. Sometimes it's just fun to go on the internet and tell lies. Like, I understand why the propaganda machine does that now. I get it. I truly do. Listen. Between you, me, and everyone watching this, if I ever say something on the internet, chances are there's like a 30% chance that it's just like entirely made up. Because I'm a stinker like that. But it also serves as a good reminder to not believe everything you see on the internet. Some people like to lie for fun. I'm one of them. Okay, what am I doing? Yeah, I feel like I only have like a very small amount of like metallic details to paint on this guy. And then I'm gonna be ready for like shading and detailing, which is like, mwah. It's my favorite part. Like as soon as I get to the dry brushing phase, I'm like, oh yeah, this is all I want to do. What about all of the reels you do about the boys? Yeah, I could use them for that. I feel like I've been working very hard on like larger models recently, so I haven't been able to do one of those Warhammer lore videos recently because, like, you know, I've been spending however long it's taken me to like finish this bad boy off, you know? Did I do a video on him? I don't think I did, actually. I've got like, yeah, there's like 3 orc characters on this vehicle that I could potentially do a little lore video from. There's him, there's a grot on the back, and if you look very closely inside the back compartment of the gun, there's another guy in there as well. I gotta let it focus up. You kind of convinced me that toothpaste wouldn't be a better, you know, syringe so you lose less toothpaste. I mean, it's already kind of like a big syringe when you think about it. No, I don't think you have as of yet. Ah, yes, that's free content I can make. I like making those videos because they're so, like, easy. Like, I literally just, like, pull out a model, get some, like, shots of it from side to side, and then I just say something stupid into a microphone. Which, honestly, is what I do anyway. That's, like, all of my content summarized like that. I'm basic, but it works. Alright. Yeah, really for the beast boss, I just need to finish up the last few details. He's got a little bit of like coppery stuff on his belt that I'm just trying to get to now. I think you can see those sort of like coppery shards that he has there. And once that's done, I will, yeah. He'll be ready to rock and roll. I might just run him on the tabletop by himself. Like, I know he's supposed to be like a leader unit, but like, maybe he can just be a lone ranger. Maybe he can just be walking around all by himself. He'll immediately die if he does that, but you know what? That's a sacrifice I am willing to make. Whew. Lurking. That's all well and good. I think I'm probably going to wrap up pretty shortly here too, anyway. You know, I think I've made good progress here. And I think... yeah, I'm starting to get like a little cross-eyed from looking at screens all day and then like going straight into painting this little bad boy here. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to perhaps call it a bit of a night here. There we go. Yeah. Let's take a quick re-up of the progress that I've got. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. I think I just need a couple more layers of the copper and like the small details like his belt. I've got a little bit of cleaning up to do with the yellows and the squig pipes and the cabling around there. Like I just started putting yellow on the cabling around his arm and his, like the little tuft on the end of his sword. And just a couple more layers of the metallic paint on his arm. But I think I'm getting pretty close to seeing him through there. So hopefully it shouldn't be too many more sessions before I'm fully done with him. But yeah, I think I'm going to call it for a night there. Thank you so much for hanging out, chatting, painting, or just hanging along with me. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, I think next time I'll be back on will be Friday for a game stream. Don't know what game it's going to be, but I'm going to give it a think. I'm going to see what runs on my fucking rig. Maybe I'll play Vampire Survivors. It's been a while since I've done that. Do people play Vampire Survivors anymore? It's a good fucking game. Alright. Good night, team. Oh, hated that. Hated that. Did not like that at all. The face I made, not the stream. The stream was fun, but I'm off the clock. I don't have to make sense anymore. Bye.